Doosra Point, hosted by Horace and Moses.
This could be victory. It is. Pakistan win the World Cup. India lift the World Cup. That's a big six.
Doosra Point.
3, 2, 1, Mr. Pasha. We're live again. So this is
How
our
are you
second
doing?
remote podcast, huh?
Yes, I'm in Pakistan today.
We-
So I just got
we-
here yesterday. So, and you're still in Houston, sir?
I'm still in Houston, so we reversed roles for this podcast. Last time I was in Pakistan and you were in Houston.
Yeah, nay, it's great to be in Pakistan actually, and looking forward to watching the game next week as well. So planning to
That'll
watch
be
the Pakistan India game. So everything's sorted. Tickets are bought, all set for to actually watch the game live next Sunday, Asia Cup, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
absolutely. I'm really looking forward to that game, and hopefully you can squeeze in a podcast before you fly out.
Live from Dubai Cricket Stadium.
But before we jump to Asia Cup, India and England last Test match, we predicted series defeat. We predicted 5-0, 4-1. Indian cricket team is right now going through some tough phase.
I mean,
What do you think?
I still think I mean, it was an excellent series. I mean, it was actually fun to watch. Much closer than the scoreline probably tells you. So 4-1 is a pretty heavy defeat on a outside looking in. If you hadn't actually watched the games, so you would have seen कि बहुत ही one-sided series रही है, and India just didn't show up. But when you actually look at the scorelines and the margins by that they've lost, actually Kohli, didn't win a single toss in the whole series. That's also interesting. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't notice
I
that.
was reading something and it mentioned that. I didn't notice that. So that's one thing to consider as well. Obviously, toss in English conditions is can be very important. But again, the second test was the one that they lost by an innings. But all the other test matches was much around about 100 runs for the last game, but all the other ones were less than 100 runs in terms of loss. So much closer than I thought.
Yeah, I personally was. It was a closer series. India could have won had they made right decisions. I personally believe it wasn't just stroke of luck. They made some horrible decisions. Uh, Kohli was disappointing as
Very
a
disappointing.
captain.
Yeah,
Ravi
very
Shastri was
disappointing.
very disappointing. Even though as always, as a batsman, he lived up to those expectations. He was the best batsman by far. Um, but yeah, it was just disappointing that he just couldn't translate his great form, as a batsman into his captaincy, and he made some poor decisions by not picking players he should have picked or
Yeah,
by dropping players he shouldn't have dropped. So, Khair, he's a learner. I'm sure he'll learn, but this was a little bit of a letdown to me personally, especially the way he kind of handled himself in press
he was
conference.
always very
He clearly looked
defensive. I thought he
agitated,
was always very
and
defensive
he
when
wasn't aggressive.
you spoke to him about his team selections or how India was doing. He always came out defensive to me in the press conferences, a bit arrogant almost, I would say. But no, he's had a
Yeah,
track record of not actually playing the best 11 in my view, or actually chopping and changing. They said it hasn't actually been in the last 3 years he's been captain. There hasn't been a series where he hasn't changed the squad every test match. So consistency तो है ही नहीं, कोई concept ही नहीं consistency का. Like दो test match हैं back to back जिसमें he didn't make any changes this time, but otherwise in every test match that they played a different team, different bowling combination, different opening. Pujar didn't play the first match. I mean, he's your top 5 test match batsman ranking wise. Averages 50, and he doesn't play the first match. The other match you play 2 spinners when it's overcast and green pitch, and you're playing two spinners. I mean, some baffling sort of decisions that just didn't make sense.
Yes, absolutely. Uh, Playing Ashwin when he was coming back from injury, as you said, two spinners. Jadeja didn't play until the last Test match. Pandya seemed to be in favor, and all of a sudden he was dropped for the fifth one. So very erratic decision making. I personally didn't quite enjoy. Fine, yeah, 4-1 you always lose. He's a new captain. It's a new side. I understand that. Magar the whole
In the
tag.
last 15
Okay,
years, or whatever
this
he
has been
said,
the
right?
best Indian side to visit
I
England
that's
or
a yeah.
last
I
15
mean
years.
to
That's
have
a bullshit
if he had
statement, man. I
won
mean,
this series 4-1, I'd appreciate that comment. You can't really say that probably when you just lost the series 4-1. I actually last 15 years means that you're talking about the Tendulkar Dravid era as well, right? Um, Bowling unit wise, maybe. You know,
exactly.
with Bumrah, Ashant Sharma, and Shami, I think even Yadav to an extent. Bowling unit wise, I probably might say, okay, yeah, maybe over the last decades, that these three pace bowlers did really well. And I mean, I only remember Zahir Khan or Srinath, but comparing those to these guys seem much more on the plot, and in terms of pure fast bailing, much more in control, and that's why it was a close series as well. So maybe on a bowling strength wise, yes, but batting, I'm not sure, man. You're talking about legends of the game over the last 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that batting lineup with Dravid and Ganguly and Lakshman and Tendulkar. Um, these guys kind of playing alongside each other as opposed to the batting lineup they have right now. I was pleasantly surprised by the bowling, by the way. I didn't expect their bowlers to bowl so well, but they did. Um, it was batting that was a letdown, not bowling. The another positive coming out of for Indians was in the find of Punt. I think Punt, the lefty wicket keeper, he batted really well.
Yeah, the century
So he's a good find.
was quite an innings with Rahul.
It's a good
Yeah,
aggressive
Rahul and
century, yeah.
Pant's last day, effort.
And Rahul is another positive. Rahul, yeah, again, a lot of promise. Played really well in IPL. Very aggressive batsman. Um, he's a good-looking player. He seems to have a good technique when when he's kind of hitting the ball. But yeah, those are the two or three positives coming out for India. One was bowling, and then KL, Rahul, and Pant. Apart from that, it was a very disappointing
No, I mean,
series.
I remember when we first talked about it, even before the series has started, I said that, actually India has a pretty good chance to win the series, and I had actually predicted them to win it. Um, and largely because I also think that this wasn't England's best team. I mean, England was,
Absolutely.
if I compare to the teams I've seen England, play over the last few summers, I felt this team actually was the weakest. The bowling units has obviously been the same, the same greats of the game, Broad and Anderson show, of course, still very much going. Anderson obviously becoming the leading wicket taker now. It was cherry on the top to actually see that they win the test match. Cook, gets a resounding sort of farewell. And the last wicket of the game also goes to Anderson, and he
Mhm.
last summer test match, you know, 564 wickets now for him. He's the leading wicket taker, at least from fast bowlers. That's quite an achievement itself. So very fitting,
Yeah,
and
very
I
fitting,
almost
and
actually
yeah,
didn't quite appreciate how far Anderson had come, or that he was now. We're talking about right up there, like with the likes of McGraw. I still always think Anderson very English conditions bowler. He's for me not probably struggled more than others, or other greats sort of fast bowlers of our era at least, who've not done really well outside of England. But in England, of course, he's by far the best bowler England has ever had.
he's. I think he's definitely the best swinger or best swinging bowler, exponent of swing bowling in the world or has been for quite some time. He is a great bowler under those conditions. Like when the ball is swinging, take him to New Zealand, give him some cloud, give him some grass on the wicket. He's a great bowler, but he's a good bowler wherever you go. He can control. His line length is fantastic. He's a good bowler. He's definitely a legend. But talking about England, I don't know if India was this was the best Indian side for the last 15 years, but this was definitely the weakest England side in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about obviously Cook's form until he had announced his retirement. It felt like he couldn't bat to save his life. I mean, very low scores, very tentative. I thought outside his off stump, he was so tentative, very unlike Cook. And all of a sudden, it tells me that as soon as he announced his retirement, his weight was lifted off his shoulders. And last Test match, to be able to score 100 and go out on that
That
way, it was almost like maybe it was something more mental than technique.
I totally agree with you. That's what I was going to say. That it's very clear that he was under a lot of stress or pressure, and he started enjoying. You could tell
Yeah,
that
he had a
he okay.
smile and he was smiling. Otherwise, he looked so stressed out there. Well, obviously, it's an big series and stuff, but considering how much experience he had, I would have thought he should be able to handle it. But it's also not just this series. He's had a low run for a long time, and he's had a bit of a dip in form for a period of time, and I think that's probably what sort of weighed down on him as well. Because on an age perspective, you compare to Misbah and Yunus, who retired when they were 40. He's what, 33, 34?
Yeah, it's not easy
Much.
to be an English captain. The media and the press and just it's a high pressure job. It's a thankless job because when the team wins. When team loses, you lose. Um, and he was the captain for the longest time. So वो हो सकता है कि वो एक factor था because if you look at his stats, you wouldn't say he's one of the best batsmen in the world. Average of
Yeah,
45.
yeah.
He scored a lot of runs, 12,000 runs and all those things, but still, statistically, he's not the best or top 10 batsman ever. But I think he did the job for England. Consistently opened the innings. He also played a lot of his cricket in England, or
Yeah,
when he was not in.
yeah, and it's tough
Yeah, and when he was not playing in England, he was playing on foreign soil. Like playing in India is even tougher for him. So yes, the average of 45 is pretty healthy, and but nonetheless a fantastic, very classy left-handed batsman, and
no for
I think he'll be
I
remembered.
mean,
Right?
for England, he's one of the greats. I mean, maybe obviously not a great in terms of cricket, overall cricket, but I think he's served England really well. I almost feel like, obviously, in hindsight, having scored 100 and stuff, I feel like, oh, maybe he should have really continued playing and stuff. But in the first three test matches, I would have said, maybe it's time for Cook to call it a day. So I have mixed feelings in terms of was it the right time to go or not. But considering what the last 12 months, I would say. But the other thing that is they don't have openers. I mean, you look at Jennings, who's the other opener. I'm like,
Oh
yeah,
man, what?
really? Is that the best opener county cricket can produce at this point in time? I mean, I'm surprised that there's still debates in terms of, should he go to Sri Lanka or not. I expect English cricket to be able to produce better openers. Obviously, Alistair Cook is now moving on. They've had a hard time replacing just one. How do you replace two? That's the only rationale I have that Jennings goes to Sri Lanka. But otherwise, I'd say, in my view, he's done. And there are a couple of his dismissals where he's been leaving the ball, or when he got leaving the ball, he got LBW completely sort of bamboozled, as they say, having no idea what's going on. Embarrassing wickets almost for me.
Oh yeah, he just doesn't know how to leave the ball. He's very Actually, he's not very young. He's like 26, and his first class average is also not very healthy. He's averaging 33, which is not great in today's day and age. Um, he's definitely not an exceptional player. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see him surviving the international cricket for too long.
Yeah, that's true. So that's again, if I was a
So
scout or if I was a betting man, I would say that he's probably not going to last very long. And then if you have that feeling as a selector, which the new selector Ed Smith is a bit bolder, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does actually drop them. But then the question becomes now with Cook's retirement, do you end up with two brand new openers and you're going down to Sri Lanka as it is going to be alien conditions. They've don't play well in spinning pitches, and I'm sure Sri Lanka will have like three spinners in the test match, and he'll be spinning quite a bit, and it's be very different um, playing conditions that you want to be going in with two openers. I also didn't actually think that Moeen Ali is the caliber that he goes one down. They asked him to go up and play. I don't think Moeen Ali is one down. I think he actually is better five down.
yeah, that's he hasn't done enough to actually go up the order.
You justify up the order. They tried Moeen Ali against the Pakistan series, if you remember, a couple of years ago in UAE. They tried to use him as an opener, and he didn't actually work. And that's when they put him down the order. I still think Moeen Ali plays well down the order. I do agree that Root should play number 4. I don't think Root should go as number 3. I think Root, you're typically in test matches, like you talk about Kohli, you talk about Steven Smith. All these guys either play 4 or 5. So Root for me probably 4 is better, but again, I don't know who you send down or send after the openers. Who goes in for England is still a question mark, including the openers now.
Well, you've got the likes of Bairstow
But
who
Bairstow
can
was
go up the
struggling as
order.
well. Yeah, in the end, he was struggling quite a bit. I don't know what happened after his injury. He wasn't quite the same. I
Yeah,
think
not your. Yeah, I mean you're right. I mean you have such a strong county cricket structure. They should be able to find some proper openers.
or
They may
at
be
least been
inexperienced, but they
grooming
have to.
them. Yeah, at least been a groom. But
Yeah,
since Andrew Strauss retired, I feel like England hasn't had a stable opening partnership. So that in itself is surprising that they haven't been able to groom anyone. I mean, we've perpetually had as Pakistan, we've perpetually had an opening issue until I feel like Fakhar Zaman came through, and that's when I feel just now, after maybe the Saeed Anwar Amir Sohail era, that we sort of have a stable partnership. So maybe it does take a little bit of time.
yeah. And Fakhar Zaman, he's still a potential in Test match cricket. I mean,
And
there's a
he
lot of
hasn't.
hope from him.
Oh, he hasn't played
He
Test
hasn't
match
done.
cricket. I'm talking white ball cricket right now. Test match तो अभी खेला भी नहीं उसने एक भी Test match नहीं खेला अभी तक तो. He hasn't debuted even. So
That's true. He's played some tired matches. Yeah, I don't know why. There's so much Fakhar Zaman going on right now
Fakhre
that
Pakistan.
you you Fakhar Pakistan.
We have so much high hopes
Yeah,
already from him that I think he Australia's announced the squad for the UAE series as well. उसमें भी बड़े काफी नए picks हैं and Maxwell's not been picked.
बहुत,
So
that's a
that's a
surprising one
surprising
though.
one. But let's just wrap up India England. So I guess 4-1 is really great result for England. I had my doubts partly because I think like I said earlier that I didn't think England had a pretty good team. Um, Obviously we had our series before that 1-1. So I had seen them play a little bit, and but I guess India, for me, let an opportunity slip. This for me was the best chance to win in England, in recent history, given both sort of their sort of potential for India's, especially with the bowling, and and the England batting. For me, this is a bit of a mess. So
Yeah.
it should be. But it doesn't seem like Shastri and Kohli, they think that they've done really well, which, it's 4-1 still. At the end of the day, people would not remember, or you lost by 30 runs, or you lost one test match by only 80 runs, or whatever. It'll be what happened to India when they turned last time England? 4-1, a drubbing.
Yeah, look, if I was Indian fan, Indian decision maker, authority, whoever, I'd be very upset for variety of reasons. A 4-1, yeah, I don't buy that. Or we came close to winning three test matches. Had it been a short test series, I could have given that, to Indians. Okay, fine, they got unlucky. પાંચ matches series mein, it's yeah, you can't really say oh, things didn't go our way. You had enough time to adjust and then deliver, and you didn't. So 4-1 is a 4-1. Doesn't matter if you came close to winning or not. I'd be very upset also because, as you said, this was their best chance. If they couldn't do it now, I don't know when they'll beat England, because this was the weakest England side in a very long time.
Yeah, so I'm quite surprised that, इस तरह के comments हैं. But I mean, close series to thi, but still, you know, it's an opportunity, missed.
Close series against a very weak side.
Yeah,
That's my problem.
exactly. And
Uh,
I mean, Kohli
it
scored,
wasn't
which
a
is,
yeah.
again, he scored sort of 500 plus runs in the series. So that in itself is a, I would say, I guess on a personal front for him, it'd be like, Joe, I played really well. But again, it's one of those where, you score runs, but you're still on the losing side. So I don't know how great that feels. But at least statistically, um,
Yeah,
he's, he
he
should be
should be
happy.
happy. He
He
should be
should be
proud.
happy that.
But the problem is, if people around him don't perform, it's only a matter of time when the pressure just gets insurmountable for him, and he will start.
हाँ टेस्ट मैच में
You'll
I
see a
mean
dip in his form,
आप
like
टेस्ट
Brian
मैच
Lara's
में
got it.
जितना भी कर लें it's you can win in T20 in one day. एक बंदे की innings होती है, and you can take off the match, and you can change, just one person can change the game. But for me, test matches, it's not a one man's game. It is the team that comes, that makes it happen. एक बंदा नहीं जिता सकता test match आपको जितना भी अच्छा हो. You're never going to win a test match with just one person sort of performing well. It is always about the team. It's not one batsman clicking or one bowler clicking.
Yeah,
It has to be a team effort.
it's
हाँ
yeah,
टी
it's not a
ट्वेंटी
one man
या
show.
वनडे में
It
आप फिर
it
आराम से जीत
can't
सकते हैं.
be.
एक बंदा
It
ने
just
ब्लाइंडर खेल दिया या 5 विकेट ले लिए और चेंजेस द होल गेम इन वाइट बॉल क्रिकेट. टेस्ट मैच में 5 विकेट ले ली तो क्या हुआ? दूसरी इनिंग्स है, 5 दिन का मैच है यार. एक इनिंग से कुछ नहीं होता.
no.
हाँ.
Next to impossible. You can win a match maybe, but you can't win a series. But you know what? To add insult to his injury, he's not been playing Asia Cup.
Which for me
So
is,
if they
personally, एक तो मैं जा रहा हूँ मैच देखने और कोहली नहीं है, तो that that itself
it's just
is a bit of a bit of a downer for me. Yeah, I'm making the effort to actually go
oh,
watch the
absolutely,
game.
man.
Although I mean the whole he's the only one being rested actually. Otherwise, they have a full strength team. But still, he's Kohli, yaar. He's the captain, and he is the greats of the game, or one of the greatest of all time potentially. Um, so not actually seeing him live, I've never actually watched Kohli live, so it would have been actually great to see him, and it would have been better for Pakistan to beat India with Kohli in the game. And being the captain, it would have been more pleasing. But अब वो वाली बात है यार कि अगर हम लोग गए और इंडिया को हरा दिया तो वो they'll be like, oh, Kohli wasn't playing so you beat us. And then if we lose to India, then they'll be like, यार देखो कोहली भी नहीं खेल रहा तो तब भी हार गए. So that's what's bothering me a bit.
It's a
So I'm
mind-boggling decision.
surprised in
Absolutely
because
mind-boggling.
Pakistan India game, who misses that? I mean, again, I understand obviously Kohli is a already a legend in some ways, so he doesn't need these kinds of games to make a name. But for a lot of the players, this is the moment to shine. This is the moment to make your name. I mean, people will forget your performances against all other countries, but you perform against a, in a Pakistan India game, and your posters will be on the roads, and people be talking about you for months or years.
Yeah. First of all, yeah, absolutely. And first of all, um, this is mind-boggling to me because in Pakistan and India played last in Champions Trophy, Kohli was playing in Pakistan won. So if I was Kohli, I'd be kind of just dying to get back and prove a point. So A, I don't understand this. B, there isn't a series after Asia Cup that you'd say, hey, he's just getting up to perform well in that series. They're playing West Indies at home,
Away. Yeah.
or not home. Sorry, yeah, they're playing West Indies away, but still it's West Indies. It's not West Indies where Brian Lara or these guys are playing. It's a very weak side. So he could rest in that series because then they have Australia. So I just don't understand why would you sit for Asia Cup, rest for Asia Cup, and then go and play West Indies unless he's planning to rest
Yeah,
for that
it is
series
a bit
also.
surprising. Disappointing actually, but I guess it is. I guess it is what it
Very
is.
disappointing. Yeah,
Otherwise, they have a full strength team. But you look at the the qualifying, sort of Asia Cup qualifying tournament also finished. So actually, UAE, it was a UAE Hong Kong final in which Hong Kong actually came through. It would have actually been nice if UAE had won, so they would have been the sixth team. But actually, they didn't quite were able to make it in the
yeah.
end. Hong Kong came through. So that's that's yeah. Sorry.
So a better side actually came through.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying a better side came
exactly.
through.
So
That's the whole point
now
of a
it's
qualifying.
the teams are set. So the tournament starts actually tomorrow, and it'd be fun to watch. Obviously, I'm quite excited. I came back last night with my brothers. I was, what we were doing at 1 a.m. and at the night, we were watching some Champions Trophy highlights and Asia Cup highlights, warming ourselves up for the week.
Oh man. Well, you get another opportunity
Yeah,
on
of course. 19th we'll watch the
19th, I
first
guess.
game. 23rd is obviously, unless India or Pakistan lose to Hong Kong, should be a second Pakistan India game, which is what we're planning to go for. And if Pakistan India go through the final, then it'll be a third game. So it'll potentially be a best of three series coming up for Pakistan India. So it's not a one off either. Um, so at least two games, in my view, with potential for the Asia Cup final to be a Pakistan India game as well. So again, and I think we last time even mentioned that it'll be quite nice to see Pakistan and India play again in UAE, although it's not Sharjah, but it's at least Dubai. शारजा की जो memories हैं बचपन की वो थोड़ी बहुत ताज़ा होंगी. दुबई का cricket ground जो है वो it's really nice, especially to watch the game actually. बड़ा मज़ेदार है. So I'm quite looking forward to actually being in the stadium and watching the game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun series. I mean, the way I'm looking at it is you'll get three Indian Pakistan matches coming out of it, which makes it a mini bilateral series to me. Uh, God forbid if there's an upset here or there and Pakistan lose to Afghanistan or something else happens, then
Well,
you
yeah,
never know.
exactly. Don't forget, the other group actually. Mainly, तो वो बड़ा interesting group है because you have Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Afghanistan. And to be honest, it's a bit hard to pick कि दोनों में से इन तीनों में से दो टीमें कौन सी progress करेंगी.
Yeah,
ये
actually,
जमाना आ
yeah.
गया.
अफगानिस्तान की जो फॉर्म है और जो बाकी श्रीलंका का जो एक स्लम्प चल रहा है, you never know.
Yeah, Sri Lanka has been obviously struggling post Jayawardene and
And Sangakkara.
Sangakkara. इतना बड़ा उनका gap आ गया है कि I mean, those two are again legends of cricket. Sangakkara for me is one of the greats of the game, let alone a great of Sri Lankan cricket. But even
Oh, absolutely,
I
man.
mean, both Jayawardene as well. I mean, they're both legends of the game, not for just for Sri Lanka. Um, तो उनको
Yeah, big
रिप्लेस
shoes
करना
to fill.
उनको रिप्लेस करना आसान काम नहीं है. That's for sure.
So that reminds me to just Sangakkara and then Scott. So what do you think about Pakistan and Scott?
Yeah, Pakistan ne jo pick kiye team, I'm quite happy with it. I was surprised at the amount of paces they're taking actually. 6 paces for, I mean, UAE is not clearly like कोई England या Australia में तो नहीं खेल रहे हम, but काफी pace heavy. Obviously with Mohammed Amir, Hassan Ali, Shinwari, Shaheen Afridi को लेके जा रहे हैं, जुनैद खान भी है. Quite pace heavy. I felt कि एक और dedicated sort of specialist spinner होता तो probably बेहतर रहता. Shadab Khan again is obviously doing really well, so he's obviously a
Nawaz bhi
Nawaz
hai.
bhi hai,
I
but
think
Nawaz for
Nawaz
me is
is
not
your,
hasn't established himself as a you know
but he's your proper left-handed orthodox spinner.
I guess
He's a bowling all-rounder.
bowling.
Yeah, I think that's what
I
they're
don't
banking on.
consider वो जो specialist जो सकलैन वाला the specialist spinner या मुरली हो गया या सकलैन हो गया या सईद अजमल हो गया उस तरह का मैं स्पिनर की बात कर रहा हूँ ना. मैं ये मुझे नवाज फिर भी कुछ ऑलराउंडर की कैटेगरी में आता है मेरे लिए. अ,
Nawaz is your typical left arm unorthodox or orthodox rather spinner. तो वो कभी सकलैन वाली या मुरलीधरन वाली कैटेगरी में नहीं आएगा because I mean look at Daniel Vittori. These guys are left armers are usually left arm spinners are usually just to contain and very defensive
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ. So the other
bowlers.
surprise for me was Shan Masood. So Shan Masood का pick होना team में was a bit of a surprise. Obviously the big surprise I guess you could see a little bit of signs of that was they didn't pick Hafiz. So Mohammed Hafiz not in the team.
I think that's
you've
about the right
you've never been
decision.
a fan.
As far as Shan Masood is concerned, look, I mean, I jumped off that bandwagon a long time ago. I think Hafiz had given what he had to give, minus his bowling, and his bowling is never going to be the same again after so many action corrections. He just can't add that much value again. As far as Shan Masood is concerned, Shan Masood's list A average, which is your first class one day cricket average, it's in its
No,
fifties.
he's not. Obviously, he's been known as a
So
test match specialist till now. He hasn't actually played a lot of white ball cricket. Um, but he has been. हाँ
नहीं, but
नहीं domestic में actually
domestic
he's
one
been
day
the
की
highest
average
scorer
51
यार.
है.
मतलब ये नहीं कि सिर्फ कि he's not
Yeah, so I
just
think
been.
that
I know he's sort of Mickey Arthur's sort of a bit of a favorite. Um, I mean, Mickey Arthur does have a soft spot for him, I feel, but but his performances in the regional domestic one day tournament is what has led to his selection. So I think he's there, but I guess still expect. I guess he's backup opener है, खेलेगा तो नहीं, because Imam and Fakhr, I presume, obviously start unless Imam sort of has 3 or 4 consecutive failures. I don't expect Shan Masood to be playing a single game in the tournament, but he's gone as a backup, so maybe potentially setting him up as an opener for the World Cup, I guess. Now, you got to be planning everything for me now with an eye on the World Cup. So Hafiz for me, if you don't pick him now, and I mean,
yeah.
you're talking about the World Cup now being sort of less than a year, what 9-10 months away. तो अगर आप हफीज को अभी नहीं पिक किया है और ड्रॉप कर दिया है, that's writing on the wall. So he's pretty much done for me in terms of your World Cup plans. Because right now you shouldn't be chopping and changing anymore.
Yeah, no. नहीं, मेरा नहीं ख्याल. I think you're right. The writing was on the wall. No, when he didn't get the
हाँ, last
contract.
time हमारी
Um,
बात हुई थी इस बात पे.
the हाँ, तो और मेरे ख्याल में ठीक भी है. Age factor plus what can he offer? Uh, इसके Arsenal minus his bowling, how special is he? And again, what options do you have if not Hafiz? Then you have options like Shan Masood, people who are young and who are averaging over 15 one day cricket in domestic structure, obviously. So I think he should. definitely get a chance. फिर देखते हैं कि खेलता नहीं खेलता. There are opportunities against Hong Kong, so I would force myself to, if not all matches, but at least one or two matches, maybe a side practice matches. I don't know what the exact format is, but I
हाँ
will
मेरे ख्याल
definitely
से तो
give him a
प्रॉब्ली
go.
जगह नहीं बनती और खेलेगा नहीं बट आई थिंक डिसेंट स्क्वाड I'm happy with the team जो पिक की है मुझे एक स्पेशलिस्ट प्लेयर मुझे हमेशा शादाब खेल
Yeah,
रहा है
I'm.
obviously but in UAE एक और specialist spinner would have been nice but I guess Shoaib Malik and Mohammad Nawaz sort of fill that.
Spinners की बात ये है कि आपके पास, so I personally don't know if there is that kind of a specialist spinner in the ranks right now, domestic के अंदर.
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ तो more so actually not मैं I am thinking about test match cricket in UAE के अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया की सीरीज भी आ रही है तो दो कौन से हमारे लीडिंग जो हैं स्पिनर्स खेलेंगे जो मुझे वो याद नहीं कि अजमल और अब्दुल रहमान करा रहे हैं या कनेरिया करा रहा है या यू नो कौन कराएगा लेग स्पिनर शादाब और हमारा जो लेग स्पिनर दूसरा यार क्या नाम है
Yasir Shah.
Yasir Shah, yeah, for hell's sake, for a
Jet
second I
lag.
completely forgot his name. It's probably jet lag. So Yasir Shah and Shadab can still bowl, but they're two both leg spinners. So I'm not fond of playing two leggies. So I'd love to have one off spinner and one spinner playing in a test match. So वो एक थोड़ा सा missing है मेरे लिए, but I think one day के लिए with the all-round capability of Namaz and Shadab and with the paces, I think it's quite balanced. Babar Azam, most of his centuries actually scored in UAE, so he's very, very comfortable in those conditions. So I'm expecting a good sort of good outing from Pakistan. The only factor is that beside Asif Ali and Shoaib Malik, not huge hitters in the team. When you look at
Fakhar Zaman.
Fakhri Zaman is is up the order, sort of a natural stroke maker. But जो आप Rahul and Pandya and Dhawan and Rohit Sharma उनकी बैटिंग की जो देखते हैं in terms of their ability to actually be stroke makers and big hitters उस तरह के big hitters नहीं हैं आप I mean that's pretty clear we're not like those guys जो IPL खेलते हैं इतना हमारे भी PSL खेलते हैं पर इतना इतने बड़े big hitters नहीं हैं जिस तरह इंडिया में है या वेस्ट इंडीज के कह लो जो होते हैं ना गेल sorts and Russell sorts who can just take over the game. It's almost like Afridi की जो एक freak innings होती थी 10 matches में एक दफा करता था but I would just change the nature of the game ना वो उस तरह के नहीं है आसिफ अली has the potential but he's very young in his career. um,
Yeah, you're right. I agree. उस तरह के जो a batsman who has this natural tendency to get underneath the ball whenever he wants.
हाँ
जो रज़ाक की
exactly
थी. On his day, he could just get underneath any delivery. जरा सी भी अगर short of Yorker length हो, वो lag कर रहा है. Asif Ali is a fantastic hitter.
right.
He is probably the cleanest striker that I've seen in a long time for playing for Pakistan. Um, Shoaib on his day
Shoaib,
can again
for
do the
me, actually,
damage, but you're
Shoaib
right.
is,
Apart from that,
to an extent, is our closer of the game. Most experienced, since he's come back, he's averaged almost more than
ah,
50. He's averaged
he's
more
been
than 50,
consistent.
and he's averaging a strike rate of sort of close to 99, 100. So he's been a consistent performer, and he likes actually scoring against India. He's had a lot of his centuries against India, so he is a big game performer as well. I don't know, Scott, and he was about to have a kid. I don't know if that's happened yet or not, but I presume with Sania Mirza there's an added Pakistan India meaning to that game for him personally as well, I guess.
I didn't have any clue. Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's what's happening off the field in his life. But he's playing. He's
yeah, they're expecting a kid now as well. So but he said obviously he wants to play till at least the 2020 T20 World Cup.
ooh,
So still a few more years for him to
Question
go.
is,
But he's been really well
who
now.
would that kid play for, Pakistan or India? uh,
That's a good good one.
I'm
Good question to ask.
I'm also kind of pleased with one more decision, which I don't think too many people have been speaking about, and that is dropping Amal Wasim. I could sense Amal Wasim was going the same direction as Ahmed Shahzad and Umar Akmal. थोड़ा सा stardom नजर आ रही थी मुझे वक्त से पहले without any real performances, and he apparently he failed the
हाँ
yo-yo
वैसे सही
test.
है and they हाँ failed the yo-yo test twice. एक दफा भी नहीं उसको दो दफा चांस दिए.
हाँ,
How can you fail a fitness test which you know के होगा? I mean he was playing the CPL. If you can't keep yourself fit, I mean that's basics, yeah. For me
so
that's
I
basics. I
yeah
mean no questions asked. अगर आप fitness test नहीं pass करे तो आप आप might as well just not show up, man. That's the least in this day and age. You gotta at least keep yourself fit unless
और
he
एक
has a
और
niggle or something.
listen, if you have niggle then you're unfit clearly, right?
Clearly, yeah.
Then yeah, then you can't play. दूसरी बात ये है कि हमारा जो yo-yo test है, so the toughest yo-yo test in cricket is New Zealand, where you have to run some. There's a number, 20 miles. I don't want to quote something because I'm not 100% sure. India has a tougher yo-yo test than us. So अगर and I agree with that because our players weren't very used to that kind of regime or fitness और सारा कुछ. So
नहीं
ठीक है,
इमाद भी
fair.
मुझे हाँ इमाद भी मुझे हैवी लगने लगा था actually.
बिल्कुल लगने लगा था. You could easily see extra pound on him or two.
Or a
So
few more probably.
हाँ, और इतने अपने career में he was young. It's not that कि कोई बहुत experienced or
हाँ
technique solid है ये वो. You're still learning the game, so you better focus on basics, and fitness is pretty basic these days. You have
but
to have
you're
fitness. तो
right कि तुम अब कह रहे हो ना कि वो stardom वाला अब as soon as you said that it sort of clicked with me कि यार थोड़ा सर पे चढ़ गया था या अपने आप को
हाँ,
बहुत ज्यादा समझ he had this attitude on the field which is good at times but that kind of attitude probably comes better with some big time performances. अब some
exactly.
big time performance के बगैर अगर आपका इतना stardom में attitude हो रहा है तो I think it's a bit of pushing it a bit.
It's inflated currency.
हाँ
I treat that like an inflated currency. The reason why people bardastify Virat Kohli is because he's a fantastic batsman.
yeah exactly.
हाँ, तो अगर आप वो नहीं बैकअप कर सकते अपनी परफॉर्मेंस से then please don't be a hero. We've already seen MS Shahzaz and Umar Akmal's and we can't afford to have another one of that
But
sort. So it's better to test this character now. अभी drop कर दिया. अगर कोई character होगा, कोई class होगी, I'm sure he'll fix his attitude and come back and perform. अगर नहीं होगी तो then goodbye.
yeah, that's true. But coming back to India's team itself, you said obviously Kohli is not playing, which is a big miss. Um, but otherwise, I think they have,
Hmm.
obviously Sharma is taken over as captain, Dhawan is vice captain, and
Dhoni is still
Dhoni is
playing.
still obviously there. So, he's closing in on being 37 years now. So he's twilight of his career. I think he calls time after the World Cup for me. But the other, full strength team, Vishnu Kumar is back after injury. I think they did miss Kumar in the England series, so it's probably good to see him back. Pandya, Akshar Patel,
Yeah.
Ambati Radu, Rahul. So full strength squad otherwise for India. So they're playing their best team besides Kohli. So I think it'd be a good. It'll still be a
Yeah.
very good game. It'll be still very competitive. I mean, it'd be hard to still pick, even with Kohli not playing. It's not like a quick clear winner predict कर सकते हैं between Pakistan and India. I almost feel that where Bangladesh cricket is, where Sri Lanka cricket is, obviously Afghanistan, upcomings, not minnows anymore. So I'll give them that. I still feel it is about Pakistan and India, the Asia Cup, to a great extent for me. I'll be extremely disappointed if Pakistan and India का final नहीं हुआ. But it would have meant कि कोई
हाँ.
काफी बड़े upsets हुए हैं. श्रीलंका की काफी नई टीम है. Chandimal's also not playing, he's injured. तो उनके भी दो तीन नए players हैं. Bangladesh have been going through a rough time. Obviously Bangladesh ने West Indies को हराया अभी West Indies में white ball cricket में, but they also, Afghanistan beat them 3-0 in a recent T20 series. So I don't know how much that you what that
Afghanistan
tells
is
you.
riding a bit of a dark horse here, honestly, to me. Nothing to lose again. These bunch of guys.
Surprise package हो
Bilkul
सकता
surprise
है.
package. If you look at Sri Lanka, it's not the weakest side in the world right now. With Angelo Matthews and um, De-
आज साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ सीरीज उनकी बुरी नहीं
हाँ,
थी वनडे
so
वाली.
their
It was
bowling is
competitive.
not Suranga, Lakmal, and all these guys are. Lasit Malinga is also playing, so you never know. He's an experienced customer. Upal Taranga is back.
Yeah, I think Lasit Malinga को pick करना वापस was a bit of a surprise यार. मतलब बंदा काफी, he's played for a long time.
Yeah,
I
with that
mean,
action.
Champions Trophy भी, with that action, Champions Trophy में भी with zero pace now, he looks unfit. I was very surprised कि वो अभी तक खेल रहा है, and I was also surprised कि उसको Asia Cup में pick किया है because he hasn't done anything for of late, and you got to at some point move on, yeah.
That shows you the strength of Sri Lankan domestic structure right now. I mean, I don't think the players are coming
Yeah, it
up.
doesn't say much. It does, it doesn't say much to me that their fast bowling depth is not there clearly. कि आप अभी तक, and I would have expected him to retire.
Hmm.
अब वो बातें कर रहे हैं कि he'll probably play the next World Cup. I was like, really यार, उसकी pace, Malinga for me was a great bowler with that action. Um, but he had to have that. I mean, उसकी जो slower ball थी and Yorkers थी, that was more meaningful जब उसकी pace थी. अब उसकी पेस ही नहीं है तो वो इतना फर्क ही नहीं लगता. एंड उसका कंट्रोल जो है वो उस लेवल का नहीं है. तो आई एम क्वाइट सरप्राइज्ड, बट एंजेला मैथ्यूज अगेन, is the current star in Sri Lankan cricket.
Yeah,
He's captain again, so
it's at best it's a decent squad. It's nothing.
nothing
Yeah,
extraordinary.
nothing extraordinary. You can't really.
Nothing to write home about that.
So they can still, but the point I was trying to make is they can still surprise you because pretty much this squad minus Chandimal beat India in Champions Trophy. Remember that they chased
Oh
down.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
So,
Dickwala and Angela Matthews. Yeah.
so all these sides can be a party poop, or can be a party pooper.
Yeah, no, it'd
Can
be.
really spoil your party. When you're taking it easy, किसी को rest करा दिया, आपने बिठा दिया कि इनके against, or
No.
they just beat you and they completely mess up the score or the standings, group standings. So you instead of getting 3 matches, India versus Pakistan, you get 2 matches.
True,
But
exactly.
let's
At
see.
least let's at least get 2 matches. But let's wrap it
Yeah,
up. I feel like we could probably go on another hour, but I think it's let's try to wrap it up. So why don't you pick a Asia Cup winner for us? What's your call? Between let's
my
do
call is
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Obviously, it's
Yeah.
very surprise.
No, and I'm no, I'm
पाकिस्तान
not being.
इंडिया पाकिस्तान इंडिया की जो 3 मैचेस अगर होते हैं तो उनमें क्या होगा?
So without being emotional, not saying because I'm Pakistan, I could have easily had a go at them. But I think Pakistan has a good momentum going for them, good squad. तो अगर पहले तो मैं सिर्फ तीन मैचेस की बात करूं, so you may say Pakistan winning 2-1, losing one, and that one match that I think they'll lose is not going to be the final.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it is clearly between Pakistan and India for me as well. पाकिस्तान इंडिया में से कोई जीतेगा. 3 मैच की सीरीज में I'm not sure. I still, almost feel emotions aside कि इंडिया की जो टीम probably है वनडे की वो maybe slightly stronger हो. With Kohli though definitely, but let's just go with the emotions, I guess. Since I'll personally be there, I would hate to be on the losing side of a Pakistan India game. So I'm hoping कि हम जीतें, obviously 19th वाला game जीतें. Whitewash हो तो बहुत ही मजा आएगा. So it'll be good, but I think it'll be a close one. It'll be closer than.
Yeah, just to clarify, yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know how comprehensively we'll beat them or we'll lose. Anything can happen in cricket. But मैं ऐसी बात, अच्छा, I'm a huge fan of momentum. और मेरे हिसाब से इस वक्त इंडिया का जो momentum है वो नहीं है. And that's why I think Pakistan has a better chance. They have a balanced side and less pressure than India. So let's see. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. But yeah, that's my pick. Pakistan, and not emotional. I'm not being
Yeah.
emotional here.
Well, let's plan to
At least
do
that's what I
let's
think.
plan to do a podcast. I guess mid series. Maybe after the Pakistan India
Oh,
game
absolutely.
eventually.
It's a must, man.
And
It's a must, man. Yeah. If not for full 50 minutes, then for
yeah,
10
we
minutes
could
or
do
15
something.
minutes, we should do
But
something.
no. All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay, man. Have fun. Rest of
All
your
right.
trip. I'll talk to you later
And of
then.
course, continue to, for the people listening, continue to subscribe to our podcast. If you have any comments, please feel leave those for us. And of course, subscribe to our channel. Thanks again for listening. And for Facebook and YouTube. Again, thanks a lot for listening.